Greetings everyone, this is Force Nature with a Tekken 7 update. Namco clearly aren't messing around that they've already dropped this week patch 3.21 after just releasing the balance patch 3.20 like just a couple weeks ago or so. Patch 3.21 looks to do what patch 3.20 was trying to do, which is nerf the living hell out of Leroy Smith. Whereas 3.20 did change quite a bit of things with Leroy Smith, but a lot of it was just simply doing like minor like damage nerfs, like knocking 2 damage here and there, or changing some advantages from like -3 to -8. But in general, Leroy Smith still was pretty much a monster even after those changes. Anyways, let's take a look at 3.21 and yes, it's from Event Hubs. Mr. Leroy Smith has essentially been the biggest topic of discussion in the Tekken 7 community since his release, with many believing him to be too strong for his own good, which came to a head at EVO Japan last month where 6 of the top 8 finalists mained him, and 1 person even subbed him. Bandai Namco had promised an update for the game to rebalance Leroy, and now that update is here. Tekken 7 Update version 3.21 is now available to download across all systems, and its only mission objective is to whack Mr. Smith and his tools upside the head with the Nerf bat. In total, 16 of Leroy's primary attacks, combo strings, saw changes to their properties, and none of them good for the new fighter. The most common adjustment across the board is toning down the Wing Chun Master's damage output, though the most drastic of which is tied to his once per match cane staff attack, tuning down the life taken from 25 to 15. Leroy's 1-1, 1+2-1 string saw the most changes overall by reducing his advantage, making it more negative on the 2nd and 6th hit, while also toning down damage on the final attack. Another alteration the community had been asking for was implemented by reducing the pushback of a handful of his attacks on blocks so that they're properly punishable by more of the cast. Tekken producer Michael Murray also notified players that since this patch contains battle adjustments, previously saved fights in the My Replay and Tips mode can no longer be used, which is pretty common for fighting games. Anyways, you can check out the Tekken 7 version patch notes below, which you're going to just check out right now. As you can see here, the patch notes are all Leroy. Starting off with the 1+2, 1 string, the 2nd hit, change the frame advantage when guarded from -7 to -9. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +4 to +2. The Homan, so the tracking has been decreased. For the 6th hit, change the frame advantage from when guarded from -10 to -13. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +1 to -2. And for the 7th hit, change the damage from 20 to 15. For the 1+2, 1+2-1 string, change the damage from 32 to 27. For down 2-4, decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is guarded. Down 3, change the damage from 14 to 10. For down 1+2, change the opponent's behavior when guarded. Frame advantage will become +0 frames to -4 frames when guarded. Change the opponent's behavior when counter hit. Down back 1, change the damage from 15 to 12. Crouch status removed. And back 1 during counter hit, change the damage from 30 to 25. Back 1+2, change the damage from 20 to 17. Change the frame advantage when guarded from -5 to -9. Decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is guarded. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +6 to +2. Increase whiff recovery animation by 10 frames. For up forward 4, decrease the range of the attack. Forward 2-2, decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is guarded. Forward 3, change the frame advantage when guarded from +1 to -2. Homan decreased, so loses Homan attack. Forward 1+2, change the damage from 28 to 25, decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is guarded. While Rising 2, change the damage from 10 to 8, decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move is guarded. While the enemy is down back 2, change the damage from 15 to 13. And once per match, the cane move, down forward 2+3, change 3rd hit's damage from 25 to 15, as mentioned earlier. And basically end time with the enemy attack, so back 2, increase recovery animation by 5 frames. As you can see from this patch, Namco really doesn't want Leroy's moveset to be so blatantly abusable, so I do find that these changes are definitely a step in the right direction. Like 3.20 kind of set the groundwork, and 3.21 definitely kind of went a bit further with regards to like whacking Leroy with the Nerf bat. Anyways, let's look at a few of the comments in reference to 3.21. Meet the Grouch said, "Finally, I can play Tekken 7 again. Every time you get used to something, others start crying saying this is too good and saying they can't get past it or improve themselves. Now people need to learn the game for real and quit expecting everything to be toned down. Leroy was good but beatable. I can't wait to see what excuses people come up with now, whether they lose or win." Jack Wired said in reply to Meet the Grouch, "Leroy was too good and needed nerfs. I agree that many people were exaggerating when they claimed Leroy was as game-breaking as Tekken 3 Ogre, Tekken 4 Jean, or vanilla Tekken 5 Steve. I don't use Leroy, but I hope he wasn't eviscerated by nerfs just like Elliot was going from like DOA 4 upper mid to vanilla DOA 5. Worst in the game and unplayable." Mondegreen said, "And we thought last year's Sam show's Gendro was bad. He was only a harbinger of the Leroy apocalypse. Glad they toned him down. He's too cool of a character to be so unbalanced." And the last one for now from PPPPP, great name by the way. "Dangerous precedent has been set and it's awful. DLC characters in several games are pay to win, then they get nerfed in a patch, which yields more room for DLC pay to win and the cycle continues. Characters should be free. Let's try making DLC boost the enjoyment of the game and not make the game." What do you think of the Leroy changes in 3.21? Do you think they're enough? Do you think they may be too much? Do you think they're justified? Do you think that Namco might have just been overreacting to EVO Japan with the 6 Leroys? Like, I mean, it could have just simply been like new character syndrome, where a lot of people like to use a character that looks good or seems good because they basically just came out and players are not like fully formulated particular tactics and strategies to be able to shut down and like deal with the character? Or do you think Leroy's the type of character that needs to be taken out back and just beat over the head repeatedly with the Nerf bat until he's completely unrecognizable and the only people left playing him are character loyalists? Lots of different ways to view the situation. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you end up thinking about 3.21 and the whole situation. On a different note, I want to give a major props to Soul Calibur 6 for returning to the EVO 2020 lineup. So basically returning to EVO for the second year in a row. I mean, that game has just made like major strides, and that's really awesome. Pretty much a guarantee for it to be part of the new world tour that was announced for Soul Calibur 6 this year. And also wanted to also give some props also for Tekken 7 for currently having the second most entrants signed up for EVO behind the behemoth, the monster that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And Soul Calibur 6, last I checked, wasn't doing too bad itself. It's in, I think, 5th place out of the 5 main games because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is an invitational, so it's not really counted. But let's see how both games do, and there is an outside chance that Tekken 7 could be top, but as it stands right now, it is ahead of Street Fighter V Champion Edition. I also want to give a shout out to Maurice, who fairly recently upgraded from a normal top tier fighter to a premium top tier fighter, so I personally just want to give you a big thank you for that and for the continued support. I also want to give a shout out to Laughing Fox, who has been a supporter of mine for a considerable extended period of time, and he has also contributed enough to be over the premium top tier fighter threshold. So I do want to give both of you guys a thank you for the very generous support, and of course I do also want to give a big thank you to all of my top tier fighters and everyone else that supports me on my Patreon. Oh, and Chad Brantley, he's a huge supporter of my work and is also a premium fighter. I have tons of guides and content, so if you'd like to support the channel, feel free to join Top Tier Fighters. Anyways, this is going to be Force Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Top Tier Tips.
Right now.
Everybody is, dude. The whole world is probably.
No, not everybody.
That's fine.
Thailand, man. I know Thailand.
Oh, yeah, you're right now. Not ducking, he doesn't care. He's going to block and standing all day. And Book finally with the patience.
2-2.
Exactly.
2-2. I love that punish, by the way.
It's good punish. There it is. That's what he tried to do earlier, but he hit the button too soon. This time, perfect. Mickey, yo. Wall slap, baby. Mickey, yo.
Uh-oh.
He tried the right screw attack too, just too strong with the back 1+2.
Bro, that is gonna be hella damage.
Hella damage for the range for the resplat. Put it back up, doesn't get the pickup. The confirm! The confirm!